So I just wanted to welcome you on the show. First off, Mike Chiasson. We're office mates here now. You're just the guy next door.
Right.
Anyway, I thought it'd be cool to have you on. You've been in it a little bit longer than me, and I think you got some additional layers of perspective. And we didn't really have a script or anything to talk about, so we're kind of just winging it.
Yeah,
So,
real estate, right?
Yeah, real estate. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I guess I just start off with a little bit about you. Like, who is Mike Chiasson? How did you come to be? And what are you all about?
I've been at this game a while.
Yeah.
Probably over 27 years. Came about it through family, really. My dad, the Remax brokerage, my dad used to own at one point in time. So it was sort of
I heard
it was an easy transition into, and the current owners of the brokerage have taken it and run with it so well. They're doing such an amazing job. Really proud of those guys.
Yeah. So what years would it have been that your father was involved, like when he owned it?
Oh, mid-90s to 2015-ish.
Is that when the boys took over?
No, they took over after that. It went through a couple of hands, after when he died. So then they ended up with it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's dive into it a little bit. So why real estate? Was it purely from the influence of your father, or did you kind of shadow him a little bit and kind of found that it was for you, or did you kind of have a few other kind of paths before?
Yeah, I had paths. I was always entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
I had a vinegar business and a catering business prior to that.
Oh.
Went to university, thought I wanted to be an accountant. Any accountants out there, and it's like, no, that's not for me.
You're too personal of a guy.
And sorry, accountants.
Right.
I have met accountants since.
My accountant's great.
I was going to say I have met a lot of accountants since, recently, that are just amazing people and great personalities.
Just
I think the
me.
profession has changed. You're right. Not for me. I'm not that good at it.
No, I got to university and I just wasn't a great student. Like I got to be in motion. Like I can't even like seminars for like real estate and like the NSAR. It's just tough for me to sit in one place, especially if there's not like continually added value. Like if it's just fluff and then you get a little nugget and then I just can't get through the fluff. So to sit and talk and listen to somebody talk about theory when I'm kind of trying to figure out how it all works.
Right.
So
how do you find this then? I mean, if we're going to sit here for a while, do you get agitated?
No, because I like doing this, because I like to hear people's stories. I like to hear, how they built up, what they've amassed, like, in your case, your real estate portfolio, your real estate business, like I had Julian Payne just on week prior. He owns Kinfix Health, and he also does some real estate investing. So he has JRP Properties. Yeah. So he's been doing some single family and a few multifamily rentals and looking to kind of get into that multifamily space. And then prior to that, I don't know if you've ever come across him. I know probably more likely that you have being a realtor, but Black Bow Gift Co., Amanda Cluett. Okay.
I have heard of
They
her.
do all the gifting.
Yeah.
So I do all my clothing gifts through them. So
nice.
I just really like to hear a story and how it all come together. Like, because I feel like today, and I mean, here we are making a podcast for social media and it's all about the good stuff. And I try and get into a little bit of the struggle, I guess, like, cause social media is all the highlights, look at me, I sold a house, or I got this listing, or look at my nice car that I worked hard to get, or my nice new suit, or my new boots, or, nobody sees kind of the blood, sweat, and tears and, the crying in the corner that you didn't think you were going to be able to make it or make it happen or whatever it is that you're doing.
That's interesting because I kind of look at it like character over charisma. And if it's all just the flash and dash, that's charisma. And character is what's left of you when there's really nothing else left. I mean, character in its true sense, I mean, the word character is the Greek meaning of the word character is basically chisel.
Is that what it means?
Yeah, that's where the word character comes from. It comes from the Greek of meaning chisel, and it's basically, if you think of a sculptor taking a piece of rock and chiseling away all the bad stuff, they end up with a masterpiece at the end. So if you allow yourself to kind of be chiseled away down to the good parts, because we love hanging on to the bad parts, right? It's always like, but I'll do all this, but just give me that one little bad thing over here. And it's almost kind of that tug of war that you have in your brain, in your mind, that you go, hey, it's almost like you're doing scales inside your own head, like these weights of scales. It's like, oh, I did all this good, but no, character is really, at the end of the day, what you're left with yourself.
Yeah, man, it's super hard to just focus on the negative, or I find like we're easily swayed to think about what we don't have instead of like what we've accomplished kind of thus far. And I'm guilty of that too. And one thing that kind of forced me, I fell off of it a little bit, but I definitely could see the value in it, was like journaling and writing like 10 things down that you're grateful for before you start the day.
I think that's an amazing practice to have every day.
And then at the end.
Yeah.
Because we can get so caught up in that one bad client interaction, or that one deal that, that didn't quite go how we wanted, or we didn't get the deal, or
the good friends that went with the other realtor.
Yeah, man. Fuck, that happens too. That's annoying.
You know what? That happened I shouldn't say quite a few times. It happened early on in my career. And at first it hurt. It was like it bit, and you're like, oh no. And thankfully I was able to kind of look inside myself and go, well, why did they go with the other person? Why did they? And in a moment of complete honesty with myself, they were better prepared, and they deserved to get it, not me.
Do you believe that? Do you think, like, in terms of, I
100%.
guess, yeah, I don't disagree. And I will say that is probably why, starting out, you kind of don't get used by some of your friends. I mean, some of your guys, they're diehards, or girls, or whoever, they'll use you no matter what. But I find like some people that aren't like completely sold are probably looking for somebody a little bit more seasoned, because it is a big transaction. It is a lot of money. So, I can't blame people for going with somebody that's, more, I wouldn't say more likely, but been in the game long enough. They're probably going to get you closer to, maximize the return on the investment of your home, or the sale of your home more so. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of go back and forth, because like, if you're my guy, like, as long as you can show me that you're capable, like I'm going with you.
Right. Yeah.
The problem with me, I guess, that the thing that hurt me in the start, because like now, like I want everybody's business.
Right.
And I don't want to sound any kind of way, but I'm at a point now, like if you don't give it to me, like I don't really need, I want it.
Right.
But like things are pretty good.
Right.
Whereas like when I really needed your support was when I really needed it.
Right.
At the start.
Right.
When you start at zero.
Right.
And I think that's where people that kind of still work that weekly corporate grind and get that bi-weekly pay, they don't really get that.
Yeah. Well,
he's going to get paid in a couple of weeks anyway, like whatever.
Right. I guess what I really meant to say in saying that was, and it almost goes back to what I talked about, character and charisma, and I didn't sort of hit on the charisma part, but the character part is that those, if you allow those events to become lessons in your life and teachable moments, you become a much stronger person. Your mindset becomes much different, so that it doesn't matter what life throws at you. You can withstand it and actually grow from it. You think about your growth in your own personal life. Most of your growth likely came from setbacks.
Struggle,
setbacks.
For sure.
It's not from the achievements.
Yeah, nobody grows out of like rainbows and sunshine.
No,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
on easy street.
Yeah, and I think real estate is one of those businesses that really can do that to you.
Test your character.
Absolutely test your character, because a little bit of success, what happens to you sometimes people go off the rails.
Oh,
and then, a little bit of success, a little bit of whatever, and, they become a different person instead of staying true to themselves. And eventually that catches up to you. So I think I've probably been in it long enough to sort of ride those waves a bit and learn from it.
Do you care to share with the audience how long you've been doing it?
Real estate?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think around 28 years. I think, yeah.
What would be two of the most important lessons you think you've learned in that amount of time in the business?
Not to compare myself to anybody else except myself. Be a better me every day.
And how do you feel that helps propel you forward day to day? Like if you were to tell that to somebody that just got in and it's all, because this industry's bad for it. It's like, top 25 list, top 100 Atlantic. Oh, this person's doing better than that. Agent open houses. And, it's all very performance based. And I mean, I get it. They're driving a business. They want to drive competition. They want to drive numbers.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody that probably, and I'm guilty of it. I still do it once in a while, not as much because I'm in my own, kind of in my own lane now, but you kind of get in the doors and you kind of take stock of the room and
right.
This person drives this fancy car. This person has this many listings. And you kind of okay, well, who's number one? And then you kind of, at least for me, that's my target. It's who's the top guy? And then, it's that's kind of where I want to be.
Right. Well, I guess I might look at it a little differently because I don't look at it as to be the top dog that you need to take out the top dog. Kind of don't tear down the tallest building so that you can be taller.
Right.
Grow.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Right. You have to grow yourself. Right. If you grow or if you change, everything changes. I can't change the industry. I can't change the market. The market is the market. Right. And the same market that exists for me exists for you, exists for all the other realtors that work within the confines of the industry we're in. It's the same market for all of us. So why do some do better than others? And if you look at it and go a little deeper, it's probably because they work on themselves more than the next person.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit further. So what do you feel makes somebody successful in this business versus somebody that, you just see their name pop up in that email at the end of the year that, so-and-so terminated their license?
Right.
How do you get from, say, top 10 to out? What's the differentiating factor of
I don't necessarily know what the differentiating factor is for them. I mean, I can take a stab at it and say, because you said, sort of what top two things. The second thing for me is that you focus on input, not on the outcome. And
we were talking about that the other day. We were talking
about that, and that focusing on outcomes is a distraction.
When you're brand new in the business, how do you keep your eye on the ball, on what we just said? You're, because I mean, I was guilty of it in my first couple of years. I was so caught up in the level I wanted to get to that sometimes it kind of paralysis by overanalysis. You're just kind of focused on this big goal, and then it's so unattainable in your brain that you're just not even doing maybe what you should be doing.
Right. Well,
so how do you focus on the process when you don't even really have that much process to be processing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you start at nothing.
Right.
Let's just say you don't know anybody. Blank slate. You got to start adding people to your, CRM or your database because they all, Naz and the guys always push that network is your net worth or whatever. You hear that all the time.
Yeah.
So how do you go from brand new and this trust the process?
Wow, that's a great question because you're looking at somebody that's 27
quite a few years
removed from that.
Yeah.
And however, I do talk to a large number of new agents. Sometimes they end up in front of me and they're asking me some questions, or they want. And I usually my advice is usually fairly consistent. Number one, the marketplace and pretty much all marketplace demands consistency or rewards consistency. So whatever it is you do it well, do it consistently. Because I mean, we know, and maybe we'll get into that, but I mean, real estate is such a diverse business. And I mean, and there's no one way to do it. I mean, if somebody's breaking in, they're probably looking at all the people around them and doing that comparison,
Right.
doing that charisma thing, doing that outcome thing. And I'm sitting here saying it's exactly the opposite. Focus on your input, focus on your character, focus on your habits, focus on your consistency, and build it. It does demand that, and it will build over time. And what a great time to be breaking in as a realtor now, or into the business, because I mean, you're going to see such changes come. I believe in the next few years. I mean, I'm here at my age and my sort of been in this a while. I still look forward to it. I mean, I love the business we're in, and I love the changes that are coming. I don't know what they are, but I do know that, with AI sort of filtering through our entire lives, there's going to be some big changes come. And those who are, it's kind of, grow or die, adapt or die.
True.
And
Look at
I'm looking forward to it. Just to see, how can I? That's a question I do ask myself a lot. It's not can't. I love saying how can I, and that question sort of gets my mind going around things. And I love trying to figure things out. I think that's a fun thing to do, and real estate allows that a lot. So that's with new agents, and I was thinking about this. If you think about AI, let me jump back a bit. I take a new agent and I'm talking to them, and I say, hey, listen, I've been at this a while. You have not been. If we sat down in front of all of our colleagues, two of us up on stage, and they started firing questions at us, who's going to give out first?
Probably the new person.
And then that's normally what they say. And they're likely right. But you know what I say to them? I said, if they keep asking questions, guess what? Eventually I'll give out too. So having answers to the questions is likely not it. And I know new agents think they need to know all the answers. And then I come back to them with, learn how to ask good questions. Learn how to ask good questions. Good questions of yourself, good questions of your clients. That's when you get somewhere. That's when you get truth out of people. That's when you get to know, where their pain is. That's when you get to know, what their goals are. It's such a conversation starter.
So with that being said, and you're extracting all this information, like, let me come at it this way. Actually, I want to back up a little bit. We're talking about developing and being a good time to be into real estate as a young person or a new person just getting into it, regardless of your age. What would you feel would be one of the new adaptations, we'll call it, to the real estate business that you've really embraced? And what is one that you potentially have been struggling a little bit to adapt into your current business?
Wow. Asking tough questions now, dude.
Gotta get those viral clips.
Well, I mean,
right?
Well, the one I'm working probably the most on is AI.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you share in what regard, or is it kind of?
Well, I don't know how it's going to turn out yet, but we'll. But I've got. I mean, everybody's probably using like a Chat GTP or a Claude or something like that. So
we'll broaden it to automation.
Looking to see if how AI can automate what I do, right, and help me not take over. How it can help me? Can it help me with blog post ideas? Can it help me with? Reaching out to clients? Like, how does it automate? Staying in touch, not on the personal touch, because the personal touch will always fall on me. I'm not looking to replace the personal touch, but how can information that is not necessarily personal but is needed for clients to get? How can that be automated? Can we automate? Can it be more automated on getting valuations on properties? Can it be more automated on getting overall market information out there, street information out there. How's that going to look in a couple of years? And I know, both our industry leaders and at the individual level, that's happening. That is happening. So I mean, it's to learn that and see how I adapt that to my business, because it is out there and it's coming. So, and I think it gives us an advantage to, if we embrace it, to perhaps get a leg up. Right?
Streamline our businesses a little bit.
Streamline it.
Maybe alleviate some of those,
Yeah.
those additional costs that, you may have to hire or get people to run these things for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no stranger to AI. I mean, I'm a one-man band like you.
Yeah.
I don't currently have an assistant, and I've actually kind of used AI in a way that kind of helps me kind of get around having to invest in that right away in the earlier stages, I guess.
It does that. And would you be shocked to know? And I mean, I learned this morning, that to see where AI is, that the top 3 songs on Spotify right now are AI.
Yeah.
So if that's one business that seems about as personal and as human, I guess, generated that I can think of, one of that, and movie acting, whatever, you need that. If it's taken that, we're in real estate. It's gonna come and filter through.
Yeah.
Will it replace? No, I don't think so,
because we still need to let people in the homes. Right?
Well, you still need to see it with your own eyes, and I actually think it gives an opportunity. I mean, if somebody takes, if realtors, and this will happen, it happens in every industry. Innovation comes in, right? People adapt, they get it, and then they go, as I would say, low and left. They go, they get it, they go low and left. And low and left basically means that everybody's trying to do the same thing, and it becomes an arms race. I think social media feels like that now.
You can't keep up, man.
Right? It becomes becomes an arms race, and once it becomes an arms race, anything that becomes an arms race, in business, starts to become about price. So those people who want to jump into the arms race, it becomes a thing about price, and the bar and the service just gets lower and lower and lower.
Yeah, until there's no margin.
Right.
Everybody's miserable.
And that means that there's a great space high and to the right to keep. There's always opportunity high and to the right. People will always want that great service. They'll always want that great product. They'll always want that, and it's not, it's paying good money for great service, great products, great, whatever that is. And there'll always be a market for that. And with what we kind of jumped into here a bit, AI, and listen, I am not an AI expert, so we can't go too deep because I'll get lost.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not an expert either.
Right.
But.
That, like I say, they'll always, I think talking about low and left and high and right also, I think, will be a great space for authenticity. People will crave authenticity because it'll be, and I think they do anyways, but because we live in such an automated, maybe non-authentic or social media driven, connected but not connected world, that real connection matters. And I think real estate will, at least for a long or the foreseeable future, I think will still be that. Even though, all of this automation can help you, I think real, authentic connection and
human contact,
human interaction. Because really, when you think about it, you can't live in that worldwide mumbo jumbo that travels around and helps or hurts us. And if you think about it, real estate. And I mean, we're sitting down here and people might think, hey, we're real estate agents that sell people into homes. Well, if you think about what is real estate, and it can be the place you live, it can be the place you go and buy something. You walk into a store, you go watch something, where you're entertained. It can be a theater, it can be a stadium. I mean, that's
everything.
That's all real estate, right? You go to the airport, that's real estate. The plane takes off on real estate and it lands and you walk into real estate. Real estate is everywhere.
Yeah, somebody owns something anywhere you step your foot on.
Yeah, and so that makes the business for me so dynamic.
Right.
And I mean, no, do I sell airports? Heck no. But
that'd be cool.
It wouldn't it?
Right.
Right.
What'd you sell today? An airport.
I sold an airport.
What did you do? Probably finish your year with that, start and finish.
Wouldn't that be great?
Man.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't know if it's been done.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to know who sold the. Yeah, but guess what? I guarantee you, somebody sold the land that the airport sits on. Right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
Are airports maybe a stupid question, but I don't even know. They're privately owned, right? Are they, or is it government subsidized?
No, they're an agency of the. They're
Of
much.
the government?
Yeah, because of security. So it's much like
just like like Canada Rail.
Well, no, it's like
No, that's private.
yeah, it's like think about the port of Halifax.
Right.
Like in the airport. There's an airport authority.
Right. So they have a peer authority, airport authority.
Yeah. So I understand. Like they run as an agency of the federal government. The port, I know the Port of Halifax does. The airport authority does the same thing.
Yeah.
And
viewers are probably like, "Man, Chris, you're an idiot." It's like, yeah, you're right. I don't know everything.
No, neither do I.
Yeah, man. Where was I going to go with this? What are we talking about?
Well, we were doing AI and real
AI,
estate, and
real
then
estate.
but really we were talking. We jumped off.
Right.
We jumped off the bridge with kind of new agents
And selling airports.
and selling airports. But what advice I would give to new agents, and there was a thought in there that I didn't complete with AI, is that if you think about it, and I said learn how to ask good questions. Wasn't that AI?
Yeah,
if it's
AI,
only
as good as the questions you ask.
You're right. Yeah, it's like you have to ask it a question, but if you don't ask it the right question, you're not going to get, or you keep digging deeper on the question to get until AI refines it down to what you're looking for. Because if you ask it a stupid question, you know what you're going to get, right?
Stupid answers.
Yeah.
Man, it's like really teach you something how to work your relationship too, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine like you ever tell your wife to go get you something that you wanted, or maybe it's the opposite. The other way around. Maybe she leaves out a few details and come back with the wrong thing. And she's like, that's not what I wanted at all. And it's like, well, the input you give me is that's all I could get out of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's no other finer example, I think.
You're a new dad.
I am a new dad.
You have got a lot to.
You saying I'm naive? I got a lot to learn.
Yeah, you'll be fetching soon.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
So on that note, AI, couple things I maybe we'll just go into it a little bit. A couple things I've heard and seen and watched. What do you think of universal basic high income?
What do you mean?
So there's this thing where I think it was Elon and Rogan, and for whatever, if you like him or hate him, still a good conversation. Elon was saying that everybody's so bent out of shape over AI and automation, and I'm kind of torn between the two as well. It's like I think there's going to be a lot of jobs eliminated, but then Elon made a point. It's like for all the jobs eliminated, or he's like, look at anything that like got a little bit more efficient over the years. Yeah, it made a few other sectors obsolete, but it also built up a bunch of other sectors.
Mm-hmm.
So his point was like, although it's going to get rid of some of those boring, monotonous jobs that we had to pay somebody to do, it'll probably eliminate those, but then it may create, a host of other jobs, because somebody has to, at the end of the day, the AI, at least at this juncture, can't operate itself completely. So there's always going to be some kind of, I think, human component involved. And then he said things are going to get so efficient, and to his opinion, that's the only way we can like fix, in his mind, the political systems across the globe are just all broken, and they're so far broken that they're almost unfixable to a certain extent. Like we could probably tweak things and make it a bit better, but the way the government operates now, especially what you hear about in the States and stuff, and then you kind of hear rumblings in the background over here, that it's just like it's just like the machine's already been in motion for so long, you can't really fix it. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. He said that everything's going to get so efficient that the only way to boost the economy to a point where we can get past, like basically get everything out of debt, is that automation is going to make things so efficient that eventually, like, do you ever hear of universal basic income?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
there will probably be also that, but there will also be a universal high income where essentially people will make more than just a basic income. They'll be able to make a reasonable living wage
Mm-hmm.
just through the efficiencies of AI being integrated into essentially life.
Right.
Um,
Do you want my short, quick answer?
well, yeah, and I just want to lay over, like, I'm just not a big fan of like any kind of like socialist concepts because
I don't want to get I don't want to get very political on this.
Yeah,
but,
me neither.
But as far as on all of that,
yeah,
I'm a hard no.
yeah, me too.
So
I think
okay,
it would ruin people.
well, let's just take. We've already had the experiment,
Yeah,
and it was COVID. And when the government just kept giving people money, and I
Mhm.
don't care, governments across the world were. So this is not a political, left, right, whatever, up, down comment. This
Mhm.
is governments gave people money.
yeah, didn't really tell them exactly how they're supposed to do anything
Right.
with it.
Well, and it created. It almost felt like it created a laziness
Well,
amongst all of us. Do you want my short, quick answer?
well, yeah, and I just want to lay over, like, I'm just not a big fan of like any kind of like socialist concepts because I just
I don't want to
feel
get I don't want to get very political on this.
Yeah,
but,
me neither.
But as far as on all of that,
yeah,
I'm a hard no.
yeah, me too.
So
I think it
okay,
would ruin people.
well, let's just take. We've already had the experiment,
Yeah,
and it was COVID. And when the government just kept giving people money, and I
Mhm.
don't care, governments across the world were. So this is not a political, left, right, whatever, up, down comment. This
Mhm.
is governments gave people money.
Yeah, didn't really tell them exactly how they're supposed to do anything
Right.
with it.
Well, and it created. It almost felt like it created a laziness
Well,
amongst all of us. That
Mhm.
it's like, okay, I can now stay home, do nothing, and you're going to give me money. So if we take that, and I'm always, I try to think in simplistic terms, because when you start getting real deep, and then okay, you need the smarter person to come in now. Is
Where's that person?
it right? And so if you take anything, right, like you say, universal basic income, and you say, okay, well, let's take that to the extreme and take it to higher amounts. Well, you're just going to do more of the same. You're probably going to get whatever that created at the low end. It's just going to create the same, only more of it
Greater entitlement.
at the higher end, because you just have, let's give you more money to do nothing.
Mhm.
And I mean, we weren't created to, just be blobs. I mean,
I can't.
no. And I mean, have you ever, I'm trying to think of the movie, Wall-E. Did you ever watch the movie Wall-E?
The little robot?
The little garbage eating machine kind of thing.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
That's a great movie. That's a great metaphor for life and what, just giving people money for nothing
Mhm.
happens. Now, not to be, to get naysayers, I'm not against helping people who, through no fault of their own,
Yeah, 100%.
can't provide for themselves. That's totally different than if you are capable. You're a much better person. Even your self-worth becomes. Imagine everybody walking around with no self-worth because everything is done for them.
Well, look at like, spoiled children like that have
Yeah.
been given everything.
Right.
How do they turn out? I mean,
Right.
listen, some of them can get past it.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you kind of create that
Yeah.
entitlement. And,
Yeah.
I'm kind of in that mindset now where like I have a daughter.
Yeah.
We're kind of touching on maybe 2.
Right.
But then I'm like, well, maybe if we don't.
2 kids, you mean?
Yeah, 2 kids.
Because she's not growing up that fast, dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. So I'm like, well, if we don't have another child, then I have to ensure that this girl doesn't get brought up entitled to thinking she's entitled to everything without putting in the proper effort to get the according result.
Yeah, we're by the way, just to let you know, I've got 3 kids, all grown. My youngest is 20. My oldest is 36.
I'm a year older.
Yeah. The oldest 2, 36, 34 are boys. The youngest 20 is a girl.
Mm.
And I can tell you, I am not equipped with girls. It's just like they are amazing, but they know their way around their dads. I'm just saying. I'm sure my wife will listen to this podcast and she will 100% agree because she tells me all the time.
Tell me about being a dad. What do you feel is the biggest challenge about being a girl dad? How does you feel she knows her way around?
She can just give you the puppy dog eyes and soften her voice. And
does it start at 2 months old?
I can tell you a story just to give you a little bit of background. Emily is my daughter, and she's just an amazing gift. She's of Chinese origin. We adopted her. We traveled to China and adopted Emily.
That's
and
awesome.
For dads out there who don't know what it's like, because I don't know what it's like to be pregnant and have a child.
Me neither.
But I do know that in basically December of 2006, Emily was proposed to us. Actually, I think it was late November 2006. And we got her picture, got all the things, and we then were going to travel about a month and a half later. Once I had her picture and I knew I was going to travel, I was now pregnant.
Were you?
Well, yeah, because that was my baby. That was my girl.
Yeah.
And I'm not with her. And so that all those emotions and whatever of just, meeting her and holding her and those things. So that was a bit of a lesson for me on what it's even just a tiny bit on what it's like to be pregnant. It's just a crazy thing that women do that we can't, and it's a good thing because we're not equipped.
Yeah.
So just fast forward and you say, hey, what is it? Well, we were back home. It can't be more than a month at home and getting adjusted. And I come home from a day of real estating and walk in, and there she is on the floor, playing with something, and she goes close to the fireplace, and I'm like, I just big yell out no, and all of a sudden she's like, she looks at me and she just starts bawling her eyes out, and to which I'm like, oh no, what do I do now, right? And to which my wife comes over, picks her up, and it's like, I'm like, well, she's like, you can't, whatever. I'm trying to remember, but I know I picked her. She picked her up. She has her over her shoulder, and my wife's back is to me. Emily's face is pointing to me, and she was bawling her eyes out with her mother, and in a really brief moment, she stopped for a really brief moment, locked eyes with me, smiled, and then went back to crying. And I'm like, I am not equipped.
How old was she?
A year. But I mean, she'd only been with us like a couple of months.
And she already knew.
And she already knew her way around me. And I was like, oh no, I am not equipped. And that has not changed. But she's a delight. She's an amazing human. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of one of those, and, maybe my wife doesn't want to say, but, I mean, we were both of the same opinion. In our 20s, we're like, we're just going to live our lives and spend our money how we want and travel everywhere. And lo and behold, we didn't really do any of that. And everybody around us started having kids. And, I'm the oldest, so and I'm Acadian French, so French family has quite a few.
You're Acadian French?
Yeah.
From where?
Yeah, down in Yarmouth County.
Okay.
Yeah, mom's from Wedgeport.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went to like Tuscate School, like
Nice.
Parent-en-Bas.
Yeah.
And then Pubnico was like elementary to 7, and then 9 to 12. I was in
Of one of the
French
22
high school.
Pubnicos down that area, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. All D'Entremaux and Dion's. I
Right.
dodged it though. I got
Right.
English dad, so Crowell landed at Crowell. Mom was a Pache though.
Right.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, we thought we were just gonna be these like cool aunts and uncles, and like my brother ain't having kids yet, and my sister's 6 years younger. She ain't seemingly on that horizon either, and Caitlin's got one brother, and his girlfriend's got a 20-year-old. You know, they're a bit older than us, or he is anyway. He's in his 40s. But so then we're like, well, it looks like we're not going to be that. So we're like, well, might as well give her a go.
and you know what? There's no right time. People
No.
go, oh, there's no right time. Listen, they are the most confusing, annoying, amazing, wonderful creatures ever. Like they will test all your emotions, yet you love them to death no matter what. And that's just a true gift.
Yeah, man. I used to talk. I love my guys at jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is probably my biggest passion. And we got a bunch of cool jiu-jitsu, like really diehard dads in there too. Like they love being dads.
Yeah.
Like never seen, like I've come across people that didn't seemingly like, they weren't that enthused about being parents.
Right.
Like when you talk to them, but like these guys,
yeah,
it's like, oh, it's the best.
Right.
Nothing beats it.
Yeah.
It's like they'd be like, listen, you won't understand until you actually hold them in your arms.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever. That sounds just like cliche. Anyway, September 22nd, 2025 come, and Josette was born. And obviously they give them right to the mom, which is fine. And then finally it was my turn.
Yeah.
And they give her to me, and I held her, and she was just like, kind of a little potato, but she's just the cutest, most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I found myself, rewind a little bit about the real estate racket and the comparison and the endless performance goals. And, I'd made the top 25, finally made the top 25 like earlier this year.
Yeah.
Caitlin just knew she was pregnant. And I told her, I think I was number 15. And she's like, wow, that's amazing. Like you've come so far from those years of struggle to, you must feel awesome. How do you feel? And I go, I feel like I need to be in the top 10 now. Right. And she looked at me with this look of like, almost like worry that, and oftentimes I talk about this stuff and I only reflect on it when now, but she looked at me and she says, Chris, I hope that you find a way to find some other joy in life than these endless performance pursuits. And she goes, I just don't mean in real estate, but it seems like everything you've done really good at,
mm-hmm.
but you always had to be like, maybe not number one, but you, if you weren't in the top running, you weren't happy. And like, she's talk about women and knowing us and knowing the ways around us. My wife knows me better than anybody. And
right.
Some days, feel like I might be a little undeserving, but when I held my daughter for the first time, I go, this is what I was meant to do.
Right.
Everything else after that is second.
Well, I would back that up with your wife. And I mean, I know sometimes it's hard to have the conversations with our spouses about what drives us. But in the same question, if she's asking you to be average at something, right? Would she want you to be an average dad?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So, I mean, there's something about being, striving to be, whatever it is you choose to do, there's something about striving to be the best, because I think it keeps you going, it gets you up, right? So strive to be the best dad, strive to be the best realtor, strive to be the best, whatever that is. I think that's an honorable pursuit, right? Be the best mom.
Of course.
Right? I mean, we're in an industry. You know what I love about this industry?
You can always be better.
Number one, you can always be better. And here's two guys. Women kick our ass in this industry.
Oh, they're way prettier than us. They're way better.
but they seem to really thrive in this industry.
Do you think it's
And
'cause
I
they're
think it's amazing. Yeah.
Do you think it's because they're more empathetic and they can maybe kind of navigate their way around more difficult situations, perhaps? I always wondered what makes, like, like take Brittany Berrigan, for example.
Right. We're
She's
talking about you, Britt.
right. I don't know if she watches, but I've only had a few interactions with her. But every time she sees me, gives me a hug. How you doing? Like, especially now with the baby.
Yeah.
Super nice gal. Runs the was she always top two, second, always in the
her
top 1 or 2.
Barrick and DeVoe.
Yeah.
Her and Stacy
Yeah.
have Barrick and DeVoe, the team.
Yeah, but they're always
Yeah.
it's all women.
Yeah, they're really,
And they're always in the top.
yeah, they're really, really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Like they and go full circle back to they are so consistent at what they do. I mean,
I think Brittany had a baby and still was hustling.
Brittany's
I heard
they
that.
have 2. Yep.
And she never really took.
Right.
Yeah,
and
she just kept
I mean,
grinding.
they are just, yeah, I really look up to them. I think they're super good at what they do.
Yeah, I have another colleague, or I've almost say client, but more colleague that I met through trying to network, and she has like 3 kids, and we've known each other. I did a bit of bodybuilding, and she was in that. That's where I met her, in that sphere. Me and Caitlin both did bodybuilding, just in case anybody gets any ideas. And anyway, I remember, like, and this is almost 10 years ago now, like, she had posted a picture, like she was pregnant, but in school, and she was studying, like, with the baby, just had the baby, and she's like, no, she's like, actually, like, I posted this picture, but university actually, like, give me a pass and I could rewrite it because I had a baby. But, like, just to even have the tenacity to be able to do that, like, I mean, my wife was, not to say she couldn't do it, she just wasn't in a position where she had to. But I mean, you watch these women go through what they have to go through to deliver these babies, and it's like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to watch. I couldn't imagine being, going through it. So it's like, yeah, I mean, they're impressive.
I have maybe a theory or a thought on
Sure.
that, because as we were talking about this, I was like, well, it's real estate is an amazing business, and you ask, well, why are women really good at it? Well, I think they don't have to ask for permission.
Can you elaborate on that?
They can. It's because it's a business that you can do on your own. Real estate exists. It's out there. Go get your license, join a brokerage. You don't need permission from somebody higher up or some whatever to hire you and make you, climb that ladder. As you say, we're talking about, well, yeah, look, they jump in with nothing and they build it, like, so, into these great business, consistent businesses that just perpetually, they do amazing. And I think they organize better. It's almost like, I think I love one thing I like about real estate. I love the hunt.
Me too.
Right? I
do.
love the hunt.
Yeah.
I love and don't get that wrong. I don't hunt. I'm a terrible shot.
I do.
Yeah, I'm not good at it. So
Yeah.
I tried it.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I was not that good. I'd end up shooting you. Right? Yeah. So
I have to get out of the way.
Right? I'm that bad. But it's a thing. I love the hunt. So give me something, I'll go hunt that down. I'll hunt down anything in real estate, and it's just I enjoy it. And once I catch it, it's like, what do I do with that? Right?
Like a dog chasing a car.
I think women have this natural ability to take whatever they get and multiply it so easily.
Interesting.
Right? And just like, they take seed and make a garden, right? We're like, we get seed and we're like, can I eat them? Right.
Right.
I'm hungry. Can I eat that? And, go catch something. Right. And it's an interesting, I think that's why, they are so good at real estate. They don't need that permission. They can start with nothing. They take one, they take one client and they multiply that. They take that multiple client and just
And how does that differentiate from, say, one of us men getting into the business from nothing? What challenges do you see that we have to overcome that are maybe, I don't want to use the term easy because this business isn't easy for anybody.
Yeah.
But maybe that women can navigate better. Like what's the differentiating factor? You say they can multiply, but like what is that? If we got a little bit more granular, how are they doing that versus a like person of the other sex?
I didn't want to get into that conversation, right?
Yeah. Where do we fall short versus women in the business?
I guess what I really meant to say is I think it's more natural for them. And they have that. I go back and it's like it's maybe they do nurture better. And however,
because women just kind of make you feel good,
right?
You know what I mean,
right? So
at least my wife makes me feel good,
right? And so when they get a client, they know how to nurture them better than us.
Like the PG feel good, not the
right. Gotcha. That they, I think we can do it. I just think it's something we have to learn. I think maybe they do it naturally.
Do you think we're more distracted?
No. I actually think women can. I mean, there's a debate out there of multitasking. If you can or can't. If it's possible to multitask, but I think women can jump from task to task easier, and men, I do think that I can take something and focus on it for a very long time.
You just never let go.
And never let go, right? But I can, and so to be nurturing, to be, to come full circle with your clients in the industry, it's more of maybe it was more of a learned experience for me, and maybe that's not true of probably all men. I'm not trying to pigeonhole everybody into the same thing. I'm just saying that I think it's amazing that women are really successful at this game, and I'm actually love the fact that Remax is the brand that I also represent, because Dave Liniger, the founder, was really the first to elevate women in the business way back in the 70s.
Yeah, he talks about it in his book.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah,
he's like very pro
women. Yeah.
Basically, like he's not shy to say they're basically better than us.
Right. So
I mean, obviously I'm pretty competitive, so I can't get fully on board, but they're really, really good. Just to admit somebody's better than me at something, I'm just not going to roll over on that. But
I like it. You know what?
Yeah.
I love it when somebody's better at something than me because I learn.
Well, exactly. I mean, and there's always going to be somebody better.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've been, talking about, this, we were talking a little bit about like, working on yourself and being consistent and, I'm losing my train of thought here. Must be the lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Man.
Daughter.
Up
late.
Yeah, I was up late. We'll have to edit this one out. Anyway, I'll have to circle back to that if we got time. But
we do edit this, do we?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to sound amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
I don't sound good to you?
No.
No.
Yeah. Actually, you're actually really good at this. I'm impressed.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, you know what you're doing. I don't. Podcasting is not my gig.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about in real estate, you can do it so many different ways.
Yeah, man.
And you're finding a way in podcasting that serves a purpose, gives out information, lets people get to know you better, get to know other people better, more about the industry, because it is such a diverse industry. We haven't even hit on the fact that we do residential real estate. Well, you don't just do residential real estate. You there's many different facets of it.
Yeah.
There's resale homes, there's new construction, there's condos, there's multi-unit, there's
Mobiles,
your Airbnbs, vacant
Modular,
land, mini homes. It's just so diverse. And then you can get into like commercial real estate where it's like, everything from, buildings to strip malls to
motels,
hotels, commercial leases, commercial sales,
gas
businesses.
stations.
Yeah, you name it. And you cannot be an expert in probably half of it. You kind of have to pick your lane. You pick your lane and run in that, and whatever that may be, right? So
yeah, man, I think it's important to really try and stay in your lane, so to speak. And just speaking from my experience, like I kind of come to this business and I was like, I'm going to be the Halifax agent. I'm just going to service everybody. I'm going to be the guy in the whole Halifax. It's
right.
like, well, I kind of ran with that for a little bit when I, wasn't probably really doing the right stuff anyway. And then I was like, man, like I'm not really getting any traction. I was like trying to be this Halifax guy. It's not really working. And it's like, then you start reading some books and it's like, oh, you really got to niche down. And like, whether that's like figuring out if you want to do residential and commercial, and then maybe you got to drill down further. It's like, well, you can't really just be the Halifax. It's too broad. And then if you, say from an advertising perspective, if you're doing Google ads or meta ads or even mail outs and you're just going everywhere, that consistency, it's not going to be consistent enough.
Yeah.
So you kind of just got to niche down. So like my focus right now, really big focus, moving forward, like I'm in Sackville.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I be the king of Sackville?
Right.
For lack of better terms. Like,
right.
So, that's my big focus is niching down and kind of, refining, my business in the residential world. I mean, I do kind of dip my toe here and there. I got a commercial listing down in Lockport.
Right.
But yeah, I think niching down is really important and to not be too broad and to realize that people think, oh, if I just focus on a little piece of the pie, I'm only going to get a little piece. But there's so much out there that
such a big pie,
that even a little piece is a lot.
Yeah. If you think about it, maybe think about it like this, where I know we're doing this podcast and there's lights on us. If you take that, you look at that light and it's kind of shining on us, just to illuminate us. But if you take that, you probably take that light, and if you can narrow it down into like a laser, you can probably cut metal with that, right?
Yeah. It's like anything that's super concentrated is going to get
Right.
kind of greater result or impact.
Yeah. So do you want to be
focused? Yeah.
So do you want to be, do you want to be a mile wide and an inch deep, or do you want to be, an inch wide and a mile deep? Right.
I want to be a laser.
Yeah. Yeah. Then that comes down to focus. Like think about it, laser focus, or are you? Right.
Yeah. That's just not even focused.
Right.
You say laser focus, what's the opposite? Just not.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Take
the laser, take the focus out, and it's like, oh, okay, what's left? Right?
Yeah, man. Listen, I know we've almost been an hour and
really?
Yeah, it's been crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I was wondering when we were gonna get started.
Oh.
I thought this was just the intro.
Yeah. Oh wow. No, this is kind of it.
Yeah.
This is kind of it.
Okay.
I guess I wanted to kind of wrap it up with kind of what keeps you going. Like what keeps you going every day for a guy that's been in the business as long as you have, and what advice would you give to some people maybe that whether they're in the residential space like me or maybe it didn't work for them in that space and they're trying commercial and they're kind of just struggling to really keep going, like, what do you tell these people?
Wow, you're going to try to end on that question? Because I think I could probably give an hour-long answer.
Yeah.
A few things on that is if you're working on something and you're working on it consistently and you believe it, first of all, you believe it. If you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you? Number one. And the majority of people, and when I say majority, I mean, the stats and whatever you read out there are likely pretty close to the truth. Is like, like 93% of the people tend to give up before the breakthrough, right? and there's going to be struggle before the breakthrough. So if your goal, I don't have a whiteboard or anything, but if you're starting here and your goal is here, and we know through experience that the path is like, to get to here,
it's
right?
not all linear,
right? But if you all of a sudden, so you need to, focus on, you need to know what that is. And I know I did say, and it's not lost on me that I said, don't be too focused on outcome. Know where you're going.
Yeah, you need to know.
You need to know where you're going.
You have to have,
but you need to focus on the day-to-day, the day-to-day to get you through these, to weave yourself through that.
You have to have the address and the
right,
GPS.
And if you all of a sudden go, this isn't working out, I need a new goal. No, that's not working out. I need a new goal. And then you end up going around in a circle, and you'll end up going nowhere. So number one, I would say don't give up until you know that horse is dead.
And you beat on him a while.
And you beat on him a while, because it's likely you're close to the breakthrough. It's
when do you know?
When do I know what?
Did you, like, for me, I was like, I remember, and I guess I'm kind of screwing up my ending here, but I remember being in the business the first couple of years and just working my ass off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm doing all this work and like really not really seeing much.
Right.
And I'm like kind of a very, like, I execute and I like results.
Right.
I like to, tick the box.
Right.
I'm just not ticking the boxes, but
right.
I'm doing all this work.
Right.
And you're not seeing the return, but then I'm like, man, like, you weren't a great power lifter and you won nationals. And then
right.
Same thing with bodybuilding.
Yep.
And then
pretty much the same thing with life. That's how life works.
Jiu-jitsu, you're a white belt.
Yeah.
And you got beat up, still get beat up sometimes by the higher belts. But now I'm a brown belt. There's only black belts. So, like, I persevered through 8 years of getting beat up by my friends, literally, physically.
Yeah.
And still showed up.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know that there will be a day where I'll be sitting here thinking to myself, I can't believe I was thinking about quitting those years ago, because now I'm here. And I'm not saying like I'm totally over the hill, but I feel like we've crested it, and we're not like screaming downhill, but we're moving.
Right.
Could you feel that point? Because me, all of a sudden it was here, and we were cooking.
Right. I don't know if that is the case for me. I always lean back on things you mentioned. Reading. I love to read, and I love to, I'm a lifelong learner. And if I'm not a lifelong learner and you say, hey, what, I think you sort of asked the question, what keeps me going? Is number one, I love what I do. Right. I absolutely love it. Love my province, love what I do. And it's awesome to do. And also want to see what I can do with it. Right. What
so
more?
Even with this many years in the business, you feel like you have so much more to
learn
and develop. And
actually 27 years in,
just starting.
I think, it feels like the longer I'm in, the more I don't know. And the more there is to learn. And that's kind of an exciting place to be. At least for me, it is. I think that's pretty cool. But I'm always reminded of a couple of things that kind of keep me going. Is that it's kind of like the analogy of the ice cube, right? And it's like, hey, you get an ice cube and it's at like whatever it is, minus 15 degrees. And, you work, and you're trying to melt that ice cube, and through hard work, and you get up to like, -2, and you've worked your tail off, and you're at -2, and you're like, nothing has changed. And you're like, you get to -1, and you're like, nothing has changed. And then you get to that point. It's like, should I give up? Should I give up? No, you shouldn't, because guess what? The next step up is, 0 degrees, the melting point, and all of a sudden it starts to melt. And then it's like,
you get the drip.
It's something starting. And then the more you work and you go up, all of a sudden it just starts disappearing on you, and now you're off and running. The other story, if I could,
sure,
that this might take a second, if that's all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm not trying to rush you away.
Okay.
Just trying to be cognizant of everybody's time, of your time mostly.
There's a story I love, and I think it's so relatable to real estate. And this story, I've heard this from a couple of old, speakers, either motivational or sort of business
Keynote, yeah.
philosophy, and I think Zig Ziglar used it quite a bit. And I know the story to be true. They actually might have even made a movie about it that I'm not necessarily sure on that. I never checked. But tells the story of during the Depression of a Texas farmer, rancher. And, during the Great Depression, drought. And just absolute, he had thousands of acres or whatever he had. I don't know. And, but it was just a dust bowl. And he was basically broke, couldn't feed his, struggling to feed his family and trying to figure out how to do it. And he's like, well, maybe if I just section off some land and sell it, maybe we can get some money to, to eat. And I mean, when that's all you need to, when you're just trying to eat, boy, survival mode kicks in, right? And so he started trying to do that, and nobody really took him up on the offer. And then one day he gets a knock on his door, and it's like, hey, we're from XYZ company, and we'd like to take a piece of your land and do some test drilling on it. We think there might be oil on your land. And he said, what will that do to the land? And they said, well, if we, and they said, well, if we, and what's the process and things like that. And I know they sort of said, well, listen, if we find any oil, we will pay you this much, basically a barrel. And he's like trying to figure out what a barrel is and all that stuff. And then he said, well, what if you don't? And they said, well, the land that we drill on, we'll clean up our mess as best as possible. But as far as using it in the future, we're not sure, basically. And so he thought about it, and he thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. And so he said, yeah, go ahead, do a test drill. And in those days, I mean, it's different today because you know what, an oil derrick, kind of that pyramid thing that, that they do, and test drilling, when you test drill, it is the most dangerous time in well drilling, right? And that's why those
gas pockets,
right? Yeah, you hit the pockets and you get the blowback and whatever. And in those days, but the derricks in those days were made out of wood, so they would have an idea of what they struck by the damage it would do to the wooden oil derrick.
Right.
So they were test drilling, and lo and behold, they hit oil, but it didn't do damage to the derrick. It blew it to smithereens, and it took them apparently. Before they could even cap it, it had so much pressure on it. They took off hundreds of thousands of barrels of oil. And so he, all of a sudden, they're drilling all over his property. And guess what? Overnight, he becomes
billionaire.
Or in those days, he becomes like a multi-millionaire overnight.
And he's struggling to feed his family the other day.
No. That's not the moral of that's not the thing of the story, is that's how it looks, is that he became a millionaire overnight. He always was a millionaire, a multi-millionaire. It was always below his feet. He just didn't have the vision to see that it was below his feet. And that's real estate for us, is that if you have the vision to see, it's the same market for all of us. If you have the vision to see what's out there, it's endless. Right? Some people just don't have that vision. And I would highly recommend to those either starting out or those struggling or those, whatever step you're in, is to have that vision of what that market is. We're all in the same market. You don't need permission. Take the bull by the horns and go after it.
Man, I think that's a good place as any to end that.
All right.
Get after it.
Yeah. You're amazing, man. Thanks.
Thanks, brother.
That's awesome.
Thanks so much, Mike. I appreciate it. Let's finish off this Friday, make our calls, and get on to the weekend.
You got it.
All right, man. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Have a great one.